Drums 64 pads is the other sub layout or other mode that we have with the drum mode on Ableton Push. So just coming over to the layout button and making sure we're in drum 64 pads, these have all now become drum pads. And what we can do to populate that is just duplicate some of these pads and move them over here, and just doing this totally randomly. And we now have other pads that we can now play. I'll just turn repeat off. And we can go to town here. We could start giving them different colors and start making something quite complex. We could even load in totally different samples, such as loops or other instruments, and make something really complex here. Now, another way of working, which could also be quite interesting for some of us, I'll just come over to a different drum rack here. PS, it remembers the layout per track. So here it's actually in what looks like the loop selector layout. So let's just come over to 64 pads as well and listen to what we have here. Now this involves basically how are we using our fingers and what can we do with them, because sometimes it's hard to get exactly what we want musically by only having one pad accessible by multiple fingers. What we can do at that stage is to move or duplicate the pad to a different location. And let's just give this the same color each time so we know what's what. And now we have 3 fingers on which we can play the same sound. Which already is something, it's already different. I have a different potential with these 3 fingers, either in this layout, or I could also, for example, move them to a different layout like so. And you might find it's easier one way or another. So for example, I've shown you before how I find it easier to do a kind of roll up on my left hand, whereas on my right, I'm really clunky. Although if I do it this way, this finger first, it's not too bad, but still a bit mechanical. Here, however, if I practice that a bit, it's going to be pretty good, I reckon. What we can then do is actually adjust parameters of each pad or the contents of each one slightly so that we get a different result. So let's take this bottom one. Let's also just delete all of these for now to keep things relatively clean. And what we could do is look for something in this sound to change. We could change, of course, the transposition. This one as well. Okay, relatively simple. What we can also do is change the volume of it. So let's put this one up, put this one down. Turn repeat on. Let's put on 16ths. Again, a different musical result. We could also put them on the same choke group, so let's put it all on 2. Which is again a different result than what we would get if it would only be here. To give another example of that, what we could do is go over to the dry session drum rack here and look for some sounds there. So here we already have an example, and let's just move to the layout 64 pads. These are quite velocity sensitive, so again, quite interesting. Let's color this one in kind of green and this one in some kind of pink. And what we could do is move these like so. And now we have a bigger area where we can play with this. Again, so not the biggest finger drummer in the world, certainly not, probably not even close to being one of the smallest, but you see there's a very difficult musical result than just playing on 2 over here. You can make this as big as you want. You could make your drum playground here and really go to town. And that's not all, because you can also move up to the other extremes of this and have even more drum pads to play with. If I really like this drum rack that I've made, what I can then do is hold down save and press the drum rack itself, and it's going to save it with a name, sometimes a variation of the original one, into your library, either in Ableton Live or on Push Standalone. That was just a small part of the Push 3 Bible. If you have any questions about the course, do check the links below. Let me know in the comments or write to me directly. And in the meantime, take care.